Commander Yuki stared at the blue planet through the viewing screen of his ship. The third planet from the yellow star looked peaceful. Too peaceful for a species that might join the Galactic Council. His long fingers moved across the control panel as he checked the data again. "Dr. Hana, what do you think about these humans?" Yuki asked his science officer. She was the best at studying new species. Hana looked up from her tablet. Her dark hair fell across her face as she read the reports. "They seem very basic, Commander. They fight each other over small pieces of land. They use chemical rockets to barely reach their own moon. Most of them still believe they are alone in the universe." Yuki nodded. The Galactic Council had found many species like this before. They were usually easy to manage. "How many of them are there?" "About 8 billion on the surface. No space colonies. No faster-than-light travel. Their most powerful weapons are nuclear bombs, but they seem afraid to use them." Hana put down her tablet. "They should be easy to integrate into our system." The ship's communication system beeped. General Tayman appeared on the screen. His blue skin looked darker than usual, which meant he was not happy. "Commander Yuki, have you finished your study of this human species?" the general asked. "Almost, sir. We will make contact tomorrow. Dr. Hana believes they are not dangerous. They appear to be a Class 7 species at most." General Tayman made a sound that was like laughing, but not friendly. "Good. The council needs more workers for the mining operations. These humans should be perfect for that." After the general ended the call, Yuki turned back to the planet. Something felt strange about this assignment, but he could not figure out what it was. The next day, 3 human ships approached the council station Kepler-7. The ships looked rough and old compared to the smooth alien vessels. They moved slowly and carefully, like animals that were not sure if they were safe. Ambassador Deho was the first human to step onto the station. He was a tall man with short black hair and calm eyes. He wore a simple black suit that looked formal but not expensive. Behind him walked 2 other humans who looked around with wide eyes. "Welcome, Ambassador Deho," Yuki said in perfect human English. "I am Commander Yuki of the Galactic Council. We are happy to meet your species." Deho bowed slightly. "Thank you, Commander. This is an honor for all humanity. We have dreamed of meeting other intelligent life for many years." They walked to a meeting room where other council members waited. General Tai Min sat at one end of the long table. His cold eyes studied the humans like they were insects. "Please sit," Yuki said. "We want to learn about your people and your world." Deho sat down carefully. "We are a young species, Commander. We have only recently learned to travel between planets. Our technology is simple compared to yours, I am sure." General Tayman leaned forward. "How do you solve disagreements between your nations, human?" "We try to talk first," Deho answered. "Sometimes we have conflicts, but we always try to find peaceful solutions." "And if talking does not work?" the general asked. Deho looked uncomfortable. "Sometimes there is fighting, but we are learning to be better. We want to join the galactic community as friends." Yuki watched the human carefully. Something about his words felt practiced, like he had said them many times before. But the reports said humans were always fighting each other. Why was this one talking about peace so much? Far away from the station, Captain Sujin floated in her ship's command center. Her ship was completely black and gave off no signals that other ships could detect. It had been watching the meeting through hidden cameras and listening devices that the aliens did not know about. "Are you getting all of this?" she asked her communications officer. "Yes, Captain. Every word is being sent back to Earth Command." Sujin smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "Good. The aliens think we are stupid children. That will make this easier." She looked at the data her science team had collected about the alien ships. The information had been very useful. Human scientists had learned many things about alien technology in the past months, things the aliens did not know they had shared. Back on the station, the meeting continued for several hours. The aliens asked many questions about human population, resources, and military strength. Deho answered honestly, but his answers made humans sound weaker than they really were. "We have many people, but not much advanced technology," he explained. "Our military is mostly for keeping peace on our own world. We have no weapons that could harm your ships." General Tayman looked pleased. "That is good, human. The Council likes peaceful species. We can help you become more advanced. In return, your people can help us with certain tasks that require many workers." Deho nodded. "We would be grateful for your help." "What kind of tasks?" "Mining operations mostly. Building projects. Simple work that does not require advanced education." The general's words sounded kind, but his eyes were cold. Dr. Hana had been quiet during most of the meeting. Now she spoke up. Ambassador, what do humans do when they are threatened by something dangerous? Deho thought for a moment. We try to run away or hide. Humans are not very strong compared to many animals on our world. We survive by being smart and working together. Interesting, Dr. Hana said. She made notes on her tablet. As the meeting ended, Yuki walked with Deho toward the docking area. Your people seem very reasonable, Ambassador. I think the Council will be happy to welcome humanity. Thank you, Commander. We hope this is the beginning of a long friendship. Deho shook hands with Yuki. His grip was firm but not aggressive. After the humans left, General Taimin found Yuki in his quarters. What do you think of them, Commander? They seem harmless enough. Weak but not stupid. They should be easy to manage once we begin the integration process. Good. I will recommend immediate Class 7 status to the Council. We can begin setting up the protection treaty within a month. Yuki nodded, but something still bothered him. General, did you notice how calm the ambassador was? Most species are more excited or frightened during first contact. The human was probably just trying to be polite. Their culture seems to value that. General Taimin waved his hand. Do not worry about small details, Commander. In a few months, the humans will be working in our mines and building our stations. They will be grateful for our guidance. As the alien ships prepared to leave the station, Captain Sujin's ship silently followed them. Her crew had recorded everything they needed. Now it was time to return to Earth and report what they had learned. The aliens thought first contact had gone perfectly. They had no idea that the real test was just beginning. 3 months after first contact, alien ships appeared in Earth's sky. The large vessels moved slowly over major cities, casting shadows on the ground below. People stopped on streets to point and stare. Some took pictures. Others ran inside their homes. Overseer Minho stood on the bridge of his command ship looking down at the planet. The blue and green world looked even more primitive up close. He could see the humans had built their cities without any real planning. Roads went in all directions like somebody had just drawn lines wherever they wanted. Dr. Subin, what is your first impression of human civilization? Minho asked his cultural expert. Dr. Subin was a thin alien with large yellow eyes. She studied her screens full of data about human behavior. Very disorganized, Overseer. They cannot even agree on one language or government system. This should make the integration much easier. Excellent. Begin the landing procedures. 50 alien soldiers landed in Washington, D.C. with their energy weapons and force shields. To them, it was overwhelming firepower. To any advanced species, 50 soldiers could control an entire planet if needed. The human leaders met them at a place called the White House. President Chen looked nervous as he shook hands with Minho. Ambassador Deho stood nearby, translating when needed. Welcome to Earth, Overseer Minho, the president said. We are honored to begin this partnership with the Galactic Council. The honor is ours, President Chen. The Council is here to help your species grow and become more advanced. In return, we ask only for your cooperation and assistance with certain projects. The president nodded quickly. Of course. Whatever you need. Dr. Subin watched the humans carefully. They seemed eager to please but also frightened. This was normal for primitive species meeting advanced ones for the first time. She made notes about their body language and behavior patterns. What she did not notice was how some humans watched the aliens with different eyes. Colonel Wu Jin stood in the back of the room wearing his military uniform. His face showed respect and curiosity, but his eyes measured distances and counted weapons. He was thinking like a soldier, not a diplomat. After the ceremony, Colonel Wu Jin returned to his office deep underground. The room was part of a massive complex that the aliens did not know existed. Human engineers had built it inside an old mountain over many years. Dr. Yunji was waiting for him with a team of scientists. She had long black hair tied back and wore a white lab coat. Her hands moved quickly over a computer keyboard as she showed him her latest work. Colonel, we have finished studying the alien ship pieces that Captain Sujin brought back, she said. The results are very interesting. Show me. Dr. Yunji pointed to a screen showing alien metal under a microscope. Their technology is more advanced than ours, but it is built for efficiency, not durability. This metal is very light and strong, but it breaks if you hit it in the right way. Colonel Wu Jin studied the data. What about their weapons? Energy-based like we expected. but they seem designed to stop enemies, not kill them. The aliens probably prefer to capture rather than destroy. That makes sense if they want workers. The colonel thought for a moment. What about their soldiers? Dr. Yunji changed the screen to show medical data. This is where it gets interesting, Colonel. The aliens are physically weaker than humans. Much weaker. Their bones break easier. Their muscles are smaller. Even their reflexes are slower. Colonel Wu Jin raised his eyebrows. Are you sure? Very sure. We tested this secretly during the meetings. When Ambassador Deho shook hands with them, we measured the pressure. A normal human handshake was almost too strong for them. They had to be careful not to show pain. So they control other species through technology, not physical strength. Exactly. And Colonel, there is something else. We tested their reaction times by dropping objects near them and watching their responses. The fastest alien was still slower than our average human child. Colonel Wu Jin smiled for the first time in weeks. Interesting. What else have you learned? Dr. Yunji pulled up another screen. Their communication systems are very advanced but also very centralized. If you damage the right parts, their whole network stops working. It is like they never planned for someone to attack them, because they have never fought a species that could fight back. That is what we think, yes. Above ground, the alien integration was beginning. Overseer Minho had set up his headquarters in New York City. He announced that humans would need to register with the new authorities and accept work assignments to help build galactic civilization. Most humans did what they were told. They stood in long lines to get their new identification cards. They listened to alien officials explain the new rules. They nodded and agreed when told they would be relocated to areas where they could be more useful. Dr. Subin studied these interactions with great interest. The humans are adapting very quickly, she reported to Minho. Much faster than most species. They seem to understand that cooperation is better than resistance. But some things puzzled her. Human children played games that looked very violent. Adults watched movies and read books about fighting and war. Even their sports were often about defeating opponents. For a peaceful species, humans seemed very interested in conflict. Overseer, I have a question about human behavior, she said during one of their meetings. What is it, Dr. Subin? Why do peaceful humans spend so much time thinking about fighting? Their entertainment, their games, their stories, many of them are about war and violence. Minho waved his hand. Primitive species often fantasize about things they cannot really do. Humans probably dream about being warriors because they are too weak to be real ones. It is harmless. Dr. Subin was not completely satisfied with this answer, but she accepted it. The overseer had much more experience with other species. What neither of them knew was that in hidden facilities around the world, humans were working day and night. Engineer Hyunwoo had taken apart alien equipment and figured out how to build better versions. Sergeant Boram was training teams of soldiers in new fighting techniques designed specifically for fighting aliens. Even ordinary citizens were preparing. Nurse Jiwon had learned how to treat wounds that alien weapons might cause. Teacher Kyung-ho was teaching children secret codes and signals that looked like games, but were really communication systems. The aliens saw humans doing normal human things, going to work, raising families, following the new rules. They did not see the other activities happening in basements and hidden rooms. 1 month after the aliens arrived, they began the next phase of integration. Humans would be moved to more efficient locations. Families would be separated so that workers could focus on their jobs without distractions. The announcement was made on all communication networks at the same time. Humans had 1 week to prepare for relocation. President Chen made a speech asking for cooperation. Ambassador Deho translated alien instructions. Everything looked peaceful and organized, but deep underground, Colonel Wu Jin received a different message. It came through secret channels that had been prepared months earlier. The message was short. Phase 2 begins now. Dr. Yunji looked up from her workstation. Colonel, all teams are ready. We have weapons, communication systems, and supply lines prepared. The aliens still have no idea we can fight back. Good. Remember, we are not just fighting for ourselves. We are showing the galaxy that humans are not victims. Above them, alien ships continued to patrol the sky. The soldiers walked through cities making sure humans followed the new rules. Everything seemed calm and under control. Overseer Minho was pleased with the progress. In his reports to the Galactic Council, he wrote that humans were the most cooperative species they had ever encountered. He had no idea that he was about to learn why humans had survived every disaster their planet had thrown at them for millions of years. The quiet time was almost over. The trouble started in Seoul. The aliens had decided that the city was too crowded and needed to be reorganized for better efficiency. They announced that 3 million people would be moved to new work camps in the countryside. The humans protested peacefully at first. They held signs and gathered in parks to ask the aliens to reconsider. They said families should not be separated. They asked to stay in their homes. Overseer Minho watched the protests from his command ship. The humans looked harmless enough. They were not violent or threatening. They just stood around talking and holding pieces of paper with words on them. "Dr. Subin, how should we handle this resistance?" he asked. Dr. Subin studied the crowds through her viewing screen. "It appears to be emotional behavior, Overseer. Humans seem very attached to their living spaces and family groups. This is common in primitive species. Should we be concerned?" "I do not think so. They are not showing any signs of real aggression. A small show of force should convince them to cooperate." Minho nodded and gave orders to his soldiers. 20 alien troops moved into the crowds with their energy weapons visible, but not aimed at anyone. Their instructions were simple: make the humans understand that resistance was pointless. The first mistake happened when a human child, maybe 6 years old, ran toward one of the alien soldiers. The child was just curious and wanted to see the strange visitor up close. The soldier, nervous and unfamiliar with human children, thought he was being attacked. The energy weapon fired automatically. The child fell to the ground and did not get up again. For a moment, everything was completely quiet. Thousands of humans stared at the small body lying on the concrete. The alien soldier looked confused, like he could not understand what had just happened. Then the screaming started, but it was not the kind of screaming the aliens expected. It was not fear or sadness. It was something much more dangerous. It was rage. The crowd moved toward the alien soldiers like a wave of water. The aliens fired their weapons, but there were too many humans and they were moving too fast. Within minutes, all 20 alien soldiers were dead. The humans had torn them apart with their bare hands. Dr. Subin watched the scene with shock. "Overseer, this behavior does not match our data about human psychology. They were supposed to be peaceful." Minho was equally surprised, but he was also a military commander. "Send more troops immediately. Use maximum force to restore order." 100 alien soldiers landed in Seoul within the hour. They had orders to stop the human violence by any means necessary. They expected to find a small group of criminals that could be easily controlled. Instead, they found that the entire city had become a battlefield. The humans were not fighting like the disorganized primitives the aliens expected. They moved in coordinated groups with clear objectives. They knew exactly where to attack alien equipment to disable it. They used the city itself as a weapon, turning familiar streets into deadly traps. Captain Soo-jin received the signal she had been waiting for months to hear. 3 short beeps on a frequency that officially did not exist. It meant that Protocol Terran was now active. She turned to her crew. "Ladies and gentlemen, the waiting is over. All human forces are now authorized to engage alien targets. Show them what we are really capable of." Her ship, still invisible to alien sensors, moved toward the first alien vessel. Captain Soo-jin had spent months studying alien ship designs. She knew exactly where to hit them. The alien ship exploded without ever knowing what killed it. Across the planet, similar attacks began at the same moment. Sergeant Boram led her team against an alien communication station. They did not just destroy it. They reprogrammed it to send false signals to other alien forces. Engineer Hyun-woo had spent weeks studying alien vehicles. Now he showed his fellow humans how to turn those vehicles into weapons that hunted their former owners. The aliens began to realize they were not fighting random human civilians. They were fighting soldiers who had been preparing for this battle for months. Dr. Subin frantically tried to analyze what was happening. "Overseer, the humans are using military tactics that are more advanced than anything in our database. How is this possible?" Minho was beginning to understand that his reports to the Galactic Council had been very wrong. "Contact the Council immediately. Tell them we need reinforcements." "How many, Overseer?" Minho watched his status screens as more alien positions reported being under attack. All of them. In the underground command center, Colonel Woo-jin coordinated the human response. His screens showed alien positions all over the planet. Most of them were already under attack or completely destroyed. Dr. Yunji, what is the status of alien communications? Dr. Yunji looked up from her workstation with satisfaction. We are now controlling 60% of their network, Colonel. They cannot talk to each other or call for help. The ones who do get messages through are receiving false information that we are sending. Excellent. What about their weapons? Most of their energy weapons are designed to stun, not kill. They work fine against other alien species, but humans recover from the stun effect much faster than expected. Our people are getting back up and fighting again within minutes. Colonel Wu Jin nodded. Human bodies had evolved on a planet where everything was trying to kill them. They were much tougher than aliens realized. Nurse Jiwan was treating wounded humans in a hospital that had become a military base. She had trained for months to handle injuries from alien weapons. But what surprised her was how few serious injuries there were. The alien weapons are not as dangerous as we thought, she reported to her commanders. They seem designed for species that are much more fragile than humans. Teacher Kyung-ho was leading a group of teenagers in an attack on an alien supply depot. The adults had taught the children to see this as a game, but it was a very deadly game. The teenagers moved through the alien facility like they had trained there their whole lives. The aliens inside the depot never had a chance. By the end of the first day, Overseer Minho had lost contact with most of his forces. The few reports he received were all the same. Human attacks were coordinated, effective, and brutal. Dr. Subin, I need an immediate analysis. How are primitive humans defeating our advanced military forces? Dr. Subin had been studying battle recordings all day. Her analysis was terrifying. Overseer, I believe we have made a fundamental error in our assessment of human psychology. What do you mean? Humans are not peaceful. They have never been peaceful. They are predators who have been pretending to be prey. Minho stared at her. That is impossible. Our data clearly shows they are a Class 7 species with limited military capability. Our data was wrong, Overseer. Or perhaps the humans deliberately gave us wrong information. Dr. Subin showed him footage of human soldiers in action. Look at how they move. Look at how they think. These are not the actions of a primitive species. These are the actions of a species that has been fighting wars for millions of years. As night fell on Earth, alien positions continued to fall to human attacks. The humans did not just fight. They fought with a creativity and ruthlessness that shocked their enemies. They turned alien technology against itself. They used the aliens' own weapons more effectively than the aliens did. They showed no mercy to enemies who had threatened their children. Commander Yuki, orbiting the planet in his command ship, finally understood what he had been sensing during first contact. Humans had been studying the aliens just as much as the aliens studied them, maybe more. Dr. Hana, he called to his science officer. What is your assessment of human military capability? Dr. Hana looked up from her analysis with frightened eyes. Commander, I do not think they are Class 7. I do not think they are Class 3. I think we may be dealing with a Class 1 species that has been hiding its true nature. Commander Yuki felt cold fear in his stomach. Class 1 species were the most dangerous in the galaxy. They were species that other species avoided or approached very carefully. Are you certain? Look at the data, Commander. In 12 hours, they have destroyed 70% of our ground forces and captured most of our equipment. They are doing this with technology we thought was primitive. Yuki realized that Earth was not going to become another worker planet for the Galactic Council. Earth was going to become something much more dangerous. The question now was whether any aliens would survive to warn the Council about what humans were really like. Within 72 hours, Earth had become a graveyard for alien forces. Commander Yuki watched from orbit as his remaining ships tried to understand what had gone wrong. The planet below no longer looked peaceful. Human cities glowed with the light of captured alien technology being put to new uses. General Insu stood in what used to be Overseer Minho's headquarters in New York. The building had been taken, without a single human casualty. Now it served as the command center for Earth's military response. Intelligence Officer Yu-Jin, what is the status of alien communications? General Insu asked. Yu-Jin looked up from her workstation with a satisfied expression. We are intercepting all alien messages, General. The few aliens still alive cannot contact their fleet without us knowing about it. And what are they saying? They are very confused, sir. They keep asking each other how humans learned to fight so well so quickly. They do not understand that we were never as primitive as we pretended to be. General Insu nodded. The deception had worked perfectly. While the aliens thought they were studying a peaceful species, Humans had been studying a military force that had never faced real resistance. Dr. Hana sat in a small room under guard. She was one of the few alien officers who had been captured alive. Across from her sat Ambassador Deho, no longer pretending to be a simple diplomat. Dr. Hana, I want you to understand something important, Deho said calmly. You were never studying humans. You were studying actors playing a role. Dr. Hana looked confused. I do not understand. Everything you learned about human psychology was carefully designed to make you underestimate us. The peaceful behavior, the primitive technology, the fear of conflict, it was all fake. That is impossible. We observed your species for months before making contact. Deho smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. You observed what we wanted you to observe. Captain Sujin's ship was watching your ships from the beginning. We knew you were coming long before you knew we existed. Dr. Hana felt sick as she began to understand. The first contact meeting was a performance designed to make you feel superior and confident. Every question you asked, we had prepared answers for. Every test you ran, we had practiced responses. Why? Dr. Hana whispered. Because humans learned long ago that the best way to defeat an enemy is to make them think you are not a threat until it is too late to stop you. In orbit around Earth, Commander Yuki was facing a terrible decision. His surviving ships had detected massive human activity in space. Somehow the humans had ships they had never reported to the Galactic Council. Commander Nayang stood on the bridge of her vessel, one of 20 human ships that had emerged from hiding places throughout the solar system. Her ship looked rough and simple compared to the elegant alien craft, but it was built for a different purpose. Communications. Open a channel to the alien commander, she ordered. Commander Yuki's face appeared on her screen. He looked tired and frightened. I am Commander Nayang of the Earth Defense Force, she said. I believe you have something that belongs to us. What do you want? Yuki asked. The immediate surrender of all alien forces in this system. You have 1 hour to comply. Yuki almost laughed. You cannot be serious. Your ships are primitive compared to ours. We have superior technology and weapons. Commander Yuki, let me explain something to you. Your ships are designed to impress other aliens and maintain order among species that do not want to fight. Our ships are designed to kill things that are trying to kill us. Commander Nayang cut the communication and turned to her crew. All ships prepare for combat. Remember, we are not just fighting for Earth. We are sending a message to the entire galaxy. The space battle that followed became legendary, though most aliens would never learn the full truth about what happened. Human ships moved differently than alien vessels expected. They were faster, more maneuverable, and seemed to ignore damage that should have disabled them. Where alien ships were elegant and efficient, human ships were redundant and tough. Commander Yuki watched in horror as his advanced weapons barely scratched the human vessels. The aliens' energy beams, designed to disable equipment cleanly, had little effect on ships that had been built to survive in the vacuum of space by creatures who expected everything to try to kill them. The human weapons, on the other hand, were brutal and effective. They did not try to disable enemy ships, they destroyed them completely. Within 6 hours, the alien fleet was either destroyed or captured. Commander Yuki found himself a prisoner aboard Commander Nayang's ship, trying to understand how everything had gone so wrong. Your technology is more advanced than ours, he said to her during his interrogation. How did you defeat us so easily? Commander Nayang sat across from him in the small room. Commander Yuki, advanced technology is useless if you do not know how to fight. Your species has been at peace for so long that you forgot what war actually looks like. And humans remember? Humans never stopped fighting, Commander. While your people were building a peaceful civilization, humans were learning how to kill each other more efficiently. Every war we fought, every battle we survived made us better at this. Yuki thought about all the human entertainment Dr. Subin had analyzed. The movies about war, the games about fighting, the stories about conflict. You study war like we study science. Because for humans, war is a science. We have been perfecting it for thousands of years. On Earth, Intelligence Officer Yujin had intercepted something much more dangerous than alien communications. She burst into General Insu's office with a data tablet in her hands. General, we have a problem. The aliens were not planning to negotiate if they lost control of Earth. General Insu looked up from his planning screens. What do you mean? They have a backup plan, sir. If they cannot control Earth, they intend to destroy it from orbit. They have ships with planet-killing weapons positioned at the edge of our solar system. General Insu felt cold. How long do we have? The attack fleet should arrive within 48 hours. Then we need to send them a message they will understand. General Insu activated his communication system. Commander Nayung, this is General Insu. We need to talk. An hour later, 20 captured alien ships left Earth's orbit. They were still alien ships, but now they had human crews who had spent months learning how to operate alien technology better than the aliens themselves. Admiral Dongmin commanded the fleet from the largest captured vessel. He had been preparing for this moment since the first alien ship appeared in Earth's sky. Captain Jinne, what is the status of our new ships? He asked his second-in-command. Captain Jinne smiled. All vessels are operating at full capacity, Admiral. The alien technology is actually quite simple once you understand how it works. Our engineers have already made several improvements. Improvements? The aliens built their ships for efficiency and comfort, sir. We have modified them for combat effectiveness. They are now much more dangerous than they were originally. Admiral Dongmin nodded with satisfaction. Excellent. When the alien reinforcements arrive, they will find something they do not expect. What is that, Admiral? They will find that humans are not the victims in this story. They are the predators. As the human fleet moved toward the edge of the solar system, messages were being sent to the Galactic Council. But these were not the messages the Council expected to receive. Instead of reports about successful human integration, they were receiving records of a complete military disaster. An entire alien fleet had been destroyed or captured by a species that was supposed to be primitive and harmless. Ambassador Daeho sat in his office preparing the most important communication of his career. It would be sent to every member of the Galactic Council simultaneously. The message was simple. Humanity wishes to discuss new terms for galactic relations. We suggest you send someone who understands military strength, rather than someone who thinks we are workers. The message included complete recordings of the battle, specifications of captured alien technology, and a detailed analysis of alien military weaknesses. The final line of the message was even simpler. Earth is no longer asking to join the galactic community. Earth is announcing that the galactic community has new leadership. The quiet species that had seemed so harmless just months. Ego was about to teach the galaxy a lesson that would change everything. The lesson was simple. Never assume that a species is weak just because it chooses to appear peaceful. The Galactic Council's emergency session was unlike anything in their 3,000-year history. Representatives from 47 species gathered in their great chamber, all trying to understand how a primitive world had destroyed an entire council fleet in less than a week. Dr. Subin stood before the assembly, one of only 12 aliens who had escaped Earth alive. Her report was supposed to help the council understand what had happened. Instead, it terrified them. Honorable council members, she began, I must inform you that all previous data about the human species was completely incorrect. Humans are not a Class 7 civilization. They may be the most dangerous species we have ever encountered. Murmurs of disbelief filled the chamber. Council leader Jektar raised his hand for silence. Dr. Subin, explain how a species without faster-than-light travel could defeat our advanced military forces. Dr. Subin activated a holographic display showing recordings from the battle. Humans did not defeat us with superior technology, honored leader. They defeated us with superior tactical thinking, deception, and what can only be described as a natural talent for warfare. The recordings showed human soldiers moving through alien positions with deadly efficiency. They showed human engineers turning alien equipment into weapons more effective than the original designs. They showed human civilians fighting like trained soldiers. This is impossible, declared Representative Vorthak. We studied them for months. They showed no signs of advanced military capability. Because they were lying to us, Representative. Every piece of information they gave us was designed to make us underestimate their true abilities. While we thought we were studying them, they were studying us. Council Leader Jektar leaned forward in his chair. Are you suggesting that humans planned this deception from first contact? I am suggesting that humans have been planning for contact with hostile alien species for much longer than we realized. They were ready for us before we even knew they existed. In space near Earth, the Council's reinforcement fleet prepared to restore order. 300 ships with the most advanced weapons in the galaxy approached the human system. Their commander, Admiral Vexiran, was confident that primitive humans could not resist such overwhelming force. "All ships prepare for orbital bombardment," he commanded. "We will show these humans what happens when they challenge the Galactic Council." Admiral Dong Min watched the approaching alien fleet from his captured command ship. Around him, 19 other human-controlled vessels waited in perfect formation. His ships looked small compared to the massive alien war fleet, but Admiral Dong Min was not worried. "Captain Jinny, are all ships ready?" he asked. Captain Jinny checked her status displays. "All vessels report ready, Admiral. Our modifications to the alien weapon systems are complete." "Excellent. Send a message to the alien fleet." Admiral Vexiran received the human transmission with amusement. The primitive species wanted to negotiate. They probably realized they were about to be destroyed and hoped to surrender with dignity. "This is Admiral Dong Min of the Earth Defense Force," the message said. "You are entering human space without permission. Turn around now and no one needs to die today." Admiral Vexiran laughed. "Human, you have 20 ships against 300. Surrender now and we will make your deaths quick." "Admiral Vexiran, you are making the same mistake your predecessors made. You think this is about technology. This is about knowing how to fight. Prove it, human." Admiral Dong Min smiled and cut the communication. "Captain Jinny, show them what humans learned from studying their ships." What happened next shocked the alien reinforcement fleet. The human ships did not attack like alien vessels would attack. They did not try to disable enemy ships or capture them intact. They fought like predators hunting prey. Human ships moved in coordinated groups that surrounded and destroyed alien vessels before they could respond. They used the aliens' own weapons in ways the original designers never intended. They turned elegant alien technology into brutal instruments of war. Admiral Vexiran watched in horror as his advanced fleet was torn apart by ships that looked primitive but fought with deadly intelligence. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. His science officer, trembling with fear, showed him the analysis. "Admiral, the humans have modified our own weapon systems. They are using our technology better than we use it ourselves. That is impossible." "Sir, I believe the humans understand our technology better than we do." "They have had months to study it while we knew nothing about their true capabilities. Within 8 hours, the Galactic Council's reinforcement fleet was either destroyed or captured." Admiral Vexiran found himself in the same position as Commander Yuki, a prisoner trying to understand how his superior force had been defeated so easily. Back in the council chambers, emergency reports were arriving faster than the representatives could read them. The human fleet was not stopping at the edge of their solar system. Human ships were heading toward council space, and they were moving faster than council vessels could intercept them. Dr. Subin stood again before the panicked assembly. "Honored council members, I must revise my assessment once more. Humans are not just dangerous. They are actively expanding their territory. They appear to be treating this as the beginning of a conquest, not the end of a conflict." Council leader Jektar felt genuine fear for the first time in his long career. "How many ships do they have?" "We do not know, sir. Every time we think we have counted all their vessels, more appear. They seem to have been building a secret fleet for years while pretending to be primitive." The truth was even more disturbing than Dr. Subin realized. Commander Seo Jun stood on the bridge of one of 50 human exploration ships that had been hidden throughout the galaxy for months. Each ship contained teams of scientists and soldiers whose job was to study alien civilizations and prepare for this exact moment. Dr. Young Mi looked up from her analysis station with excitement. "Commander, we have identified 17 alien homeworlds within our operational range. All of them appear to be defended by the same type of forces that failed at Earth." "Excellent, Doctor. Begin Phase 3 of the operation." "What is Phase 3, Commander?" Commander Seojun smiled. "Phase 3 is where we stop pretending to be the victims and start being the teachers." The messages that arrived at alien homeworlds over the next few days were unlike anything in galactic history. They were not threats or demands for surrender. They were educational materials. Human ships appeared in orbit around alien planets and broadcast detailed recordings of the battles at Earth. They showed exactly how human tactics had defeated superior alien technology. They demonstrated how human engineering had improved alien equipment beyond its original capabilities. The message that accompanied these broadcasts was simple. The Galactic Council has been dissolved. Earth now represents humanity's interests in galactic affairs. All previous treaties are void. New negotiations will begin immediately, but the most important part of the message came at the end. Any species that wishes to continue peaceful relations with humanity should send representatives to Earth within 30 days. Any species that chooses to resist will be treated as hostile. In the former council chambers, the remaining representatives tried to organize a response to the human ultimatum. But they quickly realized that resistance was impossible. The humans had demonstrated that they could defeat any council military force, and they had shown they understood alien technology better than the aliens themselves. Ambassador Deho arrived at the council station exactly 30 days later. He brought with him a new treaty that would reshape galactic civilization. But this time, humans were not asking to join an existing system. They were creating a new one. Honored former council members, he said to the assembled representatives, humanity appreciates your centuries of maintaining galactic peace. However, that peace was maintained through the threat of superior force against weaker species. Humanity represents a different approach. Council leader Jektar, no longer commanding but still trying to understand, asked the obvious question. What approach is that, Ambassador? Peace maintained through the certainty of mutual destruction. Humans do not want to rule other species, but we will not allow other species to rule us. Anyone who threatens human interests will face the full military capability of a species that has been perfecting warfare for millions of years. Dr. Subin, now working as a human advisor, added her analysis. What Ambassador Deho is explaining is that humans have changed the fundamental nature of galactic relations. Species can no longer depend on technological superiority to dominate others. Now every species must consider whether they can actually fight a war, not just threaten one. The new galactic order was established within 6 months. Species that chose cooperation found humans to be fair partners who shared technology and resources freely. Species that chose resistance discovered that humans were even more effective at warfare than they had demonstrated at Earth. But perhaps the most important change was psychological. For the first time in galactic history, every species knew that there was another species in the galaxy that could fight back effectively. This knowledge changed how every civilization approached conflicts and negotiations.